Yes, peace, fam. Um, a few days ago, I watched a video on YouTube that was so amazing to me because I never thought I would see the day when African continent come together as one to face a challenge that have hunted them for so many years. Leaders got assassinated, leaders got killed for trying to help develop and build a country. So today I am playing a video of a summit that took place with a few African countries. And I would like you to take a listen and you decide, because I think that video was a very, very powerful video. To me, it's a change in the whole play that's happening right now. Take a listen.
Thank you once again for your invitation in order for us to join the rest of the delegations to this important conference and help us to tease out the underlying perspectives of our gathering over the past 2 days. For us, as South African Parliament, as clearly articulated by the Honorable Masondo, a multipolar world simply means that power is not dominated by one country, but distributed amongst multiple countries. And therefore, the proponents of this view argue that the world has to evolve into a multipolar order where several power centers balance one another. Now, I thank the opportunity for us to listen to President Putin. And President Putin has this to say in his prediction that African countries will become leaders in the multipolar world, and furthermore that we will become a big majority for the betterment of the lives of our people through building on sound economic development initiatives. I think that it is something which we should take very seriously and commit ourselves to this creation of a multipolar world. Recently, we emerged from the Inter-Parliamentary Union session that was held in Bahrain, where most of my colleagues, some who are here, were in attendance. What became evident during the general debate, particularly on the emergency items, that there are countries that continue to be an imbalance of power of the geopolitical groups, where the so-called major powers have become more influential in international politics. This continues to cripple our respective states' developmental agenda, mutual interests, and cooperation. The extent and nature of multipolarity remain uncertain. And what is certain is that the old order, and therefore the unipolar world, will not fall without its rulers taking extreme measures to cling to power, to dominate, and continue to divide us. Currently, many countries here are facing aggressive sanctions and many other means of control. I may cite Zimbabwe, which is here with us. I may cite the Russian Federation itself. This cannot be the solution as ordinary citizens, women and children are the most vulnerable when sanctions kick in any country. This is one unspeakable form of human rights violation. Over long decades of colonialism, Africa as the continent continues to suffer the brunt of exploitation and drainage of our resources. Therefore, Africa needs a fair and balanced partner to support support our inspirations as a continent, which are enshrined in our 2063 document, as was articulated by Honorable Masondo. In the light of everything which has happened in relation to the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, it is important for the African parliaments to individually and collectively scrutinize government's actions in implementing the trade agreement. The World Bank, as was clearly said, and the African Trade Agreement Secretariat indicate that the agreement is fully implemented, if fully implemented, would raise concerns in Africa by 9% by 2035 and lift 50 million people out of extreme poverty. It is also important to note that the successful implementation of the agreement will be highly dependent on securing lasting solutions to conflict. African parliaments must therefore strengthen efforts to find solutions to the conflicts and other pressing issues, including climate change and high levels of debt. I'm happy, Honorable Volodin, that you were able to invite countries, the transitional governments of Burkina Faso, Mali, so that they too can share their perspectives around the challenges they are confronted with in their countries. Honorable Putin, the president, quotes Madiba, the former president and the late president of the Republic of South Africa. And he had this to say: indeed, nothing must get on our way to freedom. It is so opportune that now Russia is working with us. You have worked with us in the past when we were fighting against colonialism. You are now beginning to work with us so that we can, beyond political freedoms, we can acquire economic development and prosperity in our country. Political freedom can never be on its own. In order for us to really feel the spin-offs of political freedom, there has to be economic development. There has to be prosperity in our countries. And this is just what you have begun to do with the countries in our continent. The rich history between the two nations, as in my country now, continue to define several bilateral agreements and memoranda of understanding. We have signed some of them, and these include in tourism, mining, agriculture, medicine, and education. Furthermore, several high-level visits, as well as parliamentary engagements on the margins of international and multilateral fora, have taken place over the years. Now, President Putin then also makes mention of the fact that a huge margin for investment, that is approximately 45% to Europe versus 3% to Africa, requires a complete world order overhaul. And therefore, we welcome as South Africa the opportunity to receive training, particularly around technology advancement and in many areas of growth and development. Now, this will not be the beginning of training of our people. You did this training when South Africa was at its worst, when it was not fashionable for major countries and major powers to associate with our people. And now you have come out openly and you are saying we continue to walk this road, this path together with the African continent. And we want to thank you for that. Having mentioned all the above initiatives that have been talked to by many of us, in the spectra of the growing trends in global politics and what we term in this conference as the multipolar world, there is an absolute need to continue to build on a fair, equal, and just society with fair, equitable distribution of wealth and to build on peaceful coexistence. As the African Parliament, we look forward to more meaningful deliberations and partnerships, and we can assure you that we will continue to lean on you, and you can rest assured that as a country and as a people of South Africa, we will continue to support the people of Russia. It may be Russia now, it was Soviet Union yesterday, but it is the people of Russia we are supporting, we are working with, and we know you will continue to hold our hands. And as a last plea to you, honorable members from the African continent, as mentioned earlier on by both Honorable Mudenda from Zimbabwe and the Honorable Chairperson of the NCOP from Namibia, I would want us to make a very strong plea to you as member of the P5 to continue to support the call by the African continent to have its representation in the United Nations Security Council. We actually are calling on you to support us in our call for the reforms of the United Nations. Because if that does not happen, we will continue to have the kinds of conflicts which we are seeing in our continent. And of course, what happens when there's a conflict, then we are penalized. And once you are penalized, then you are expected, sanctions are thrown on you, and you run short of partners. There are very few people who are able to stand with us when there are challenges. Very few countries. Most of the countries would rather walk away from you when you encounter problems. We thank you once more for giving us the support. We thank the people of Mali and the people of Burkina Faso for being part of this contingent of members to visit Russia, so that we can all exchange views, share experiences, and see how best the people of your country can be supported through you. Thank you very much, honorable members.
Of a multipolar world is a term that describes.
I would like to thank everybody for listening to Gorilla Media. You can like, subscribe, and share. What we have done, we will be breaking that video into 4 parts because it's quite a long video. So look out for Gorilla Media again, and you can share, like I say, like, and subscribe. Thank you. See you next time.